In ISA server, if you want to configure the network object, so first we need to click on the network, and under the network tabs, this is where we can configure our network object. If you can see here, we have an internal. If you right click property, and if you can go to the addresses, now this is where we can define our internal address. And if you can see our parameters in another word is also called DMZ or demilitarized zone. And if you right click and property, you can see our addresses for our DMZ is 23.110 to 23.11255. Then how about our external? If you right click on the external property, you can see that there's nothing for us to configure. Basically, it means that any other network than the parameters and the internal are considered external. And you also can see our command here. Okay, if you want to see that this is a 3-link firewall, when I do an IP config, you can see I have the 23.111, 39.111, and 10.2.1.1. So this is a 3-link network. Now, if you want to define the network, another way for you to define is using our templates. Now, as you can see from this template, we have 5 templates that we can use. We have edge firewall, 3-link parameters, front firewall, back firewall, and a single adapter, single network adapter firewall. Alright, you can see that the explanation is over here. Let's just click on the 3-link parameters. A wizard appear. Now this wizard will create the basic 3-link firewall rules for us. We can click on the next. Now this is our internal address, our parameters address, which is our DMZ. Click next. Now if let's say we select, for example, allow web access, allow access to network services or parameters. Now below here is our description. So first is allow HTTP, HTTPS, FTP, and the VPN client to the parameters and the external, allow DNS, and allow the protocol from VPN to the internal. So if we can click on the next and click on finish and see what happened. Alright, so you can see from here we have apply and discard. Now hold on, where's our rules? Now you can click on the firewall policy here. Now these are the rules that we use the template. Now these are the rules that's created by the template for us. So we do not need to think so much on how to configure it or how to begin, because the firewall already have 5 templates to help us. Now if you do not want it, you can just discard it. So click on the discard. Are you sure you want to discard? Click on the yes. So it will revert back to our default policy. Okay, so let's go back into our network again. So the next features that we are going to look at will be our network sets. Now as you can see that the network object is one object by one object. Network set is some sort of like groups. So we can click on the network set, and let me expand this a bit. So for example, all network and the local host, if I right click and the properties, you can see that these are the network, but if you check on this, means that it is excluded. So this network set exclude this selected network. So basically means that is none of this is excluded. That's why it said all network. But if we look at all protected network, you click on the properties and click on the network, it's exclude the external. Basically means that it's all internal network. Alright, so this is our network set. Next we look at the network rules. Okay, now the network rules define the relationship whether it's a route or it's a network address translation. For example, localhost to all network, we use route. VPN client or quarantine VPN client to internal, we use route. But if let's say internal to parameters, we use NAT. Now all these relationship we can define under the network rules. Okay, now let's just test on how we can create our network rules. Okay, so we click on the task over here. We click on create a new network rules. Let's just give it a name. We put it as a VPN perimeter. access. Click next. So this wizard asks us for the source. We click on the add, and we select the VPN client. We click next. So for the destination, we are going to click on the next. Alright, so the next one here is whether we should use the NAT or the route. We use the route, we click next, and we click finish. Now you can see from here a new network access rules has been created. So this define here saying that VPN to the destination. Just now remember I didn't define. In fact, you can define the external. Alright, if let's say you want to go back and define again, you right click properties and destination. Assume that I want to select the external. Okay, so it's being defined. So VPN client to the external, we use a route. Do you see that? So this is how you can define the relationship on our network, whether it's a route network or it's a NAT network. So we are not going to use it. So let's discard it again. Alright, so it has been discarded. So still on our network, if you can go back into our network, for example, in our internal, if you right click properties, now our internal network do have many tabs over here. Now I want you to click on the firewall client. Now if let's say you do want your internal client to support the firewall client, you have to check on the enable firewall client support. And if let's say you want to support the web proxy, you also have to enable the web proxy client and define the port. So by default they already defined as 8080 for you. Alright, so this is a very simple exploration on our network objects, on a network set and the network rules.